Hey, hello guys, welcome back. So in this video, I will show you how to use Vagrant. In the previous video, I have shown you how to install Vagrant. In case if you missed it, I would recommend you to watch that video. And continuation to that, in this video, I will show you what are the basic commands that we use in Vagrant, how do we provision our Vagrant, right? And how do we validate if we have the right version of Vagrant installed or not. Okay, so let's get started. So once the Vagrant is installed, you can use any terminal whichever is convenient to you. So some people are more convenient in using Git Bash, some people are convenient in using PowerShell, some people are convenient using CMD, some people will use MobaXterm. It doesn't matter, guys. Okay, whichever the terminals that you are comfortable with, you can use any of those terminals to interact with Vagrant. Okay, so to get started, I will initially show working on PowerShell. Okay, so because PowerShell is something that comes by default, so you don't have to install anything extra for using a PowerShell. So if you see here, I have opened my PowerShell. So let's go ahead and see if the Vagrant is installed. So if the Vagrant is installed and you type the Vagrant and then press enter, it will show you all the commandlets that are available in your Vagrant. Okay, you can see. So if you are seeing this output, meaning you have installed Vagrant and it is working correctly. Now let us verify the Vagrant version. So Vagrant space version is a command which will give us the version that you are currently running in your server or laptop and PC. So the current version that I am installing is 2.3.2, which is the latest version, guys, and we are up to date. You don't have to worry. So we have successfully installed Vagrant. So what are we going to do once we have the Vagrant installed? So if you look at this picture, right, I have just created this for easy understanding and understanding the flow. The first thing is installation, which we have just completed. Two, initializing the project, right? So once we have the project initialized, then we execute a command called vagrant init, and then finally we bring the project up. So now I'm going to do the second step, which is initializing the project. So in order to initialize the project, the recommendation would be to create a folder, a dedicated folder. In my case, I have created in a D drive. I have created a folder called Vagrant. Inside this, I'm going to create another folder, and I'm going to name this folder as my project 1. Okay. So it is important that you provide the proper naming convention so that you do not get confused. Okay. So as for the convenience of this demo, I am using this name called project-01 and go inside it. So now I am inside my project, which is empty. If you see here, the folder is empty. There is nothing inside it. So I will have to execute my Vagrant commands from this directory. Okay. So the easiest and convenient way is to open a terminal right from here. So right click and say open in terminal, which opens up a new terminal for us. Okay. So I'll increase the font. Now do ls. It is empty, if you can see. Now I'm going to initialize a project. How are we going to initialize a project? Right. The command is vagrant init. Okay. So vagrant init is a command which will create a complete Vagrant file for you, meaning that specific file is used for the Vagrant to provision a server. Okay. So now my requirement is to provision a Ubuntu server. So I need to tell my Vagrant that, hey, initialize the project with the required operating system that I want. Okay, and that operating system that I'm referring here is called as a box. Okay, in the Vagrant terminology, that is called as a box, and that is what I'm going to provide. Okay, let's say bento slash Ubuntu 20-4. Okay, or if you're not sure from where you can get this box details and all, let's open up a browser and type Vagrant boxes. Okay, so Vagrant maintains a repository where you have all of these images already configured. Okay, if you can see, here is the list of the boxes that I have. Now I would like to go ahead with maybe the latest version or n-1 version. So I'll go with Ubuntu 20.4. Okay, so I can search for that. Here you can see 22.04, which is the latest version, and it is updated just 5 months ago. Okay, so I think this one looks good. Or let me type bento. Go back, don't have to be here. Go back, just type bento slash Ubuntu. So whenever you are using, right, your name should match with the name of your box, then only it will work. So I would say Vagrant in it, space, followed by the bento slash Ubuntu-20.04, which is my operating system version. In case if you want to have another operating system, okay, so you can just change this name and provide the appropriate name. Then your Vagrant will configure your Vagrant file with the respective name. Okay, so I will show you in detail like how do we create the file and all, but to get started, I think this is sufficient for us, and then say enter. So now Vagrant will initialize a project. When I say initializing the project, it actually creates a configuration file for you. Okay, you see, a Vagrant file has been placed in the directory. You are now ready to Vagrant up your first virtual environment. Please read the comments in the Vagrant file as well as documentations on the Vagrant app. Okay, now to show you that the Vagrant has initialized the project, I'll do a ls, and you can see there is a Vagrant file. So I'm not going to open that now because I will do I'll show you that in a while, like what is a Vagrant file, how do we create our own Vagrant file. I'll talk about that, but for now let me bring this project up. Okay, how do I do that? Vagrant app. So that's it. So now you have just initialized the project. Initializing the project will create a Vagrant file. Now you are bringing up the project. So to bring up the project, you say Vagrant app. And if you read this output carefully, what it will do is basically it will see the provider that you are using. In our case, we are using VirtualBox as a provider, and it verifies whether the box Ubuntu is available. So we don't have that in the local server, so in my laptop. So it tried to download that from the Vagrant cloud. So that is what it is doing, and the time it takes usually depends on the speed of your internet and how fast your computer is working. Okay, so I have a proper internet connection, and you can see it has downloaded it. Now it is successfully added the box. Now it is importing the box. So importing the box is like in the backend, it is going to create a virtual machine for you. So if you open your VirtualBox, okay, you can clearly see that the project 01, that is a name that I gave to my project, and it is giving the default name and a random number here. Okay, so this VM is provisioned by Vagrant when I executed the command Vagrant app. Okay, so it is just like any other virtual machine, and you can see it is booting up. So it is so fast, guys. if in case you want to do the same installation of Ubuntu without Vagrant, you will have to first configure your virtual machine, set the hardware, the amount of CPU and everything, and and then mount the ISO and then bring it up. Whereas here, with just two commands, one Vagrant init and Vagrant up, will create this machine for you. So see the prompt. So finally it says your hosts and reload your VM, right? It's up. Guest additions versions done. It is mounted this thing. Now, in order to enter into the machine that we have just created, we can say Vagrant space SSH. So Vagrant SSH will take you inside your virtual machine. Remember guys, I'm executing all of these commands from within my project. Okay, my project is this one, project-01. So if you see, I'm inside my operating system, Vagrant. So we can also define our own host names, which user you want, and all of those can be controlled by using the Vagrant file. So now I am successfully logged into my Vagrant virtual machine. Now you can do a cat /etc *-release. So if you see, my Ubuntu version is 20.04.4. So I have successfully created my first Vagrant virtual machine. Hope you follow the session and then go ahead and provision your first virtual machines. So in the next video, I will clearly explain you what is a Vagrant file, how do we modify a Vagrant file, okay, and how do we install different operating systems. All of the thing I'll explain you in the coming videos, guys. Thank you so much.